In Isaiah it says, "A virgin shall conceive a son, and the sign shall be a virgin shall conceive a son." Well, we hear from a lot of liberals and many Jews who dislike Christianity that it isn't really virgin, it's just young woman. In ancient times, only young women could have children, and life expectancy was low, so it would have been anybody. But when it says young woman, it means before marriage. Now, that would have been a sin in any community, a sin that would have been immediately exacted with death if anybody knew of a virgin conceiving. This was arguably not practiced at the time of the birth of Christ, but it was still such a horrid stigma. You could be stoned, or worse, you're put out. That's all you need to do. Just like I said, the only thing you need to do to not have something survive is just not copy it down. Just put a woman outside of your people group. She probably couldn't even be a successful prostitute. She'd die. Um, if it's a young woman and it's a lawful Jewish woman who's going to bear the Messiah, she's not screwing around. She's not fornicating. I don't understand where you'd get this hyper literalism, and not to mention it was always understood as virgin. Why was it copied into the Greek as virgin? Oh, but the writers of Septuagint didn't know what they were talking about, even though the Septuagint was used by all Jews everywhere for hundreds and hundreds of years until they started rebuilding their text through Hebrew. And pretty much the only original Torah that we have is the one from the Samaritans, not the Jews. The real ancient Israelites, not the people who were born out of proselytes. And there are variations in the Torah. So the Bible code. But when people say, "Oh no, it just means young woman," what lawful young? I mean, look at the law of Moses. Look what you're talking about. Do you even know what you're saying? Oh, it just meant young woman. It has to be. I mean, that's the only context that it would even make sense. A whore shall conceive a son. A promiscuous one. No, it didn't say anything like that. It says a young woman. And it's always been known as virgin until modern people, oh, but it really meant this, and they misinterpret it, and now is the birth of Christianity, like the beginning of Snatch or something. No, not at all. It's virgin. And a young woman before marriage. If you're going to say young woman, you have to distinguish, does it mean before marriage, or does it mean any young woman? If it's any young woman, I mean, think of young. What does that mean? Well, it probably doesn't mean our time of, oh, just, under 30 or something like that. It meant somebody who, before they were married, a maid, a maiden. That's what we call Mary, the handmaiden of the Lord. She even says this in the Magnificat. Uh, that's the sign of the Messiah. That's how we know the Messiah has come. She bore him. It's one of the pivotal points of faith. Look it up in the Nicene Creed, the Apostles' Creed, everything. It's a pivotal point of Christianity. And it destroys the Marcions and the Gnostics. Marcionites, I should say, and the Gnostics. Valentinius specifically. But when people try to argue this as if it's a point, just look them dead in the eye in the plainest, most compassionate, most merciful way say, you are a liar. And if they really don't understand, just say, well, you're misinformed. Because no, that's not negotiable. We're not going to argue about it because it's foolishness. It's like saying, oh, well, there's two creations of women in Genesis. Well, no, there's not. It's a tradition that formed later. Just like now, this is a new tradition of heresy, and it's been formed later, and it'll be carried on because all the heresies are always repeated. Why don't they just say Panthera was the father of Jesus? Just go all the way. Just say Panthera.